Pastor Roy Gearhart from Galloway United Methodist Church in Franklin, Pennsylvania, sharing a few words of encouragement to help us follow after Jesus. Do you ever feel unvalued, unappreciated, or even unloved? Maybe in your family relationships, in your circle of friends, or even in a workplace. You feel like you're the one who is least valued in the crowd. I'm sure that all of us, in some context, in some part of our lives, will experience that sense of really being unappreciated or even unloved. And that creates a great struggle in our lives because this is really an extremely important need that each of us has. And yet we're going to find that in many cases in our life, that our circumstances, our job, our circle of friends, or even our family are not going to be able to fulfill or meet all of those needs. And we're going to need to find an answer in God. In fact, as we're following the story of Jacob and God's work in his life, we see a situation arise where this plays out really in a very meaningful and powerful way. Jacob is tricked by his uncle Laban into marrying both of Laban's daughters, Leah and Rachel. Jacob had bargained for the privilege of marrying Rachel, whom he was head over heels in love with. He worked for 7 years for his uncle Laban for that privilege. And then Laban tricked him into marrying both sisters so that he could leverage that into another 7 years of free labor out of Jacob. This creates a situation where Rachel clearly holds the affection of her husband, and Leah is a wife who is left feeling unloved and unvalued. In the 30th chapter of Genesis, we're told that God takes note of this, that he is engaged not just with Jacob, but with all of the members of this family. And he takes note that Leah is unloved. And God intervenes to bring a blessing upon her, to demonstrate that he cares for her and that she is a person that is valuable and is truly appreciated by God. So what God does is begins to bless her with having children. This is a great blessing to her. She feels great about having children, feels like this is really enhances her sense of personal worth and value, and she hopes that this is going to draw her husband's affections toward her. In fact, in Genesis 30, when Leah begins to have the 4 sons that she will give birth to, we see right off the bat that when her first son is born, she says, "Truly, my husband will love me now." But when the second son is born, she said, "God sees that I am not loved." So that didn't work. Not with son number 1. And yet God blesses her with another son, and she's still hoping that perhaps this will draw Jacob's affection to her. By the 3rd child, though, she says, "This will make my husband be committed to me." It's a shift to recognize that even if she's not won over his affection, there is a bond that's been created between them. They are a family together, and this will be a sustaining, lasting bond. And by the 4th child, however, she's no longer trying to win over Jacob, but she is able to look to God and give him praise. And we begin to realize that Leah has come to accept that God is the one who is showing her love and value even more than her husband, that she's finding a fulfillment and a contentment in her life through God's actions, even if all of the things around her are leaving her lacking. This is something that you and I are going to have to find many times in our lives, that we're not going to find fulfillment through our career, or we're not going to find affection in our relationships with others, or we're not going to find our full sense of value in any of those circles or any of those contexts. But we're going to have to find that sense of value and being loved through the act of God, through our relationship with him. And the good news of that is that many of us lacking in all kinds of areas of our life find that God takes note of us, that God cares for us and is responsive in those needs and truly brings to us a sense of value and purpose and of love. And that In him, we find that contentment and fulfillment of our lives. Well, may God bless you today. And as you share this good news, may God make you a blessing wherever he takes you.